Let's create a workspace in this video. Let's create Microsoft Fabric Workspace. Open your browser, go to the app fabricmicrosoft.com, sign in with your Microsoft account. Once logged in, you will land on the Fabric homepage. On the home page, you can see different types of templates that will help you to give you an idea about how your projects can do with a task flow. Like example, like Medallion architectures, event analytics, lambdas. That will help you to choose what are the items that is involved and how can you organize your items. For the new people who wanted to learn Microsoft Fabric, Fabric has already provided the links, guidelines, documentations, tutorials, labs, practices, everything together along with Microsoft. You can click all these links to check that, refer, and do the practical labs. Let's create workspace. On the left side of the bar, click the workspaces, then click the new workspace button. The panel will appear on the right side of the screen. Enter the name of your workspace. What you can also add description to help others understand the purpose of the workspace. This is optional but recommended. Click on the Advanced Options section to expand it, where there is you will configure the domain, license, and semantic model settings. Under the domain, click the drop down and select the domain that you want to associate with your workspace. Right now, my screen is having domain as well as a subdomain. Regarding this domain creation and subdomain creations, I will let you know later in the advanced classes. If no domain has been set up in your domain, this field may be empty or show default options. After adding domain, it's optional to choose the workspace image. You can upload the image that you have that perfectly suits your workspace. Then choose the license mode. It could be premium or a trial. Under the license mode sections, you will see options like Pro, Premium per user, Premium per capacity, Embedded, and Trial. Since I am choosing the trial options, select Trial and this gives you access to the Fabric features without premium license for the limited period. Small semantic model is best for smallest data sets and lightweight workloads. Choose this if you are trying to learning or working in a limited data. Large semantic model is best for bigger data sets so that require more memory and processing power. Select the one that fits your needs. I'm choosing this semantic model. Once all the settings are configured, click the Apply or Create button at the bottom of the panel. Your new workspace will be created and you will be taken directly into it. Verify your workspace and you should see now new workspace name on the top of the page and the work page is empty. To start adding items like lakehouse, notebooks, pipelines and reports. Okay, let's talk about the best practices. The very first one is talking about naming convention. Let's say your company is having multiple domains. Usually, the workspace will be catered by domains and subdomains. Domains is usually based on the finance, marketing, sales, and depends on the department basis. So, I recommend all the time to have your former name follows the domain or the subdomain or the department name, and then followed by the project name. So project name will specify you what exactly to identify on which project that you're working on. And then followed by the environment, which means for every software development, you will be having a development version, testing version, and a production version. So it's better to name it like a dev represents a development version, or test represents a testing environment, or a production represents a production environment. So with this namings, your workspace will have the clarity on what uh, item, which department it belongs to, project it belongs to, and environment it belongs to. The next one, talking about separating your workspace based on the dev, test, and production. As you know, the software industry, for every project that you develop, initially it will be considered as a development. Database, destination databases, connections, user settings, and your real-time data, testing data, everything will differ from development, test, and production. And finally, the production environment is also the real world version where the real users will be using your product. So it's always recommended to have a separate versions for dev, test, and production. And there is an item called deployment pipelines. Usually, after you do your end to end processes and developments in your workspaces, let's say, like from the workspace, you collect all your sources and then you clean your data into the warehouse, and then you move that into a visualization development and you develop a complete fabric workspace item. Then your time for you to change that into a test environment and then to a production environment with the help of deployment pipelines. So it's always recommended to name to have a different versions of workspaces. Of course, I said you have the naming conventions which will help you to differentiate your versions of workspaces. So it's always recommended to have a different versions for every dev, test, and production environment. The next item we are talking about workspace focused. What do you mean by workspace focused? Let's say if you're working in a particular company and you're involved in multiple projects, you purchased a maximum level of capacity and you think that having a very wide space so that you can use multiple projects into it. Imagine you're working on a hospital environment as well as a shopping cart, supermarket environment, as well as a finance environment. Okay, so it's a three different projects comes from different environment. Do you think it is best to put all your projects into one workspace and the lake house will be clumsy with all the datas and master datas and references files? It's not a good practices, right? It will really confuse what is the actual source files and destination files that belongs to which project. So always recommend don't dump everything into one workspace. Keep always separate versions for every projects. Let each workspace focused on a specific projects or a use cases. The last one I'm going to talk about review access. What it mean by review access? As you know, every workspaces is having four different roles. For each different roles, will have multiple IDs. Let's say I have one email ID and I am admin role. One admin role and multiple members, and each members will have the multiple contributors. And when it moves to production, there is a numerous, like more than 10, 20 users will be applying, accessing the system. So in that case, multiple people will be playing around your workspaces. So what happens if in the middle of the project, a few people moved out of the project or a few people terminated from the project? So in that cases, that ID will be still connected and still active in your workspaces. So it's always recommended to audit all the time your access roles and responsibilities. What are the IDs being involved under which role, and at least once a quarter, and remove the inactive users promptly. That will give you more safety and security for your project and get updated. I think these best practices will help you to organize your workspaces and will give you the best practices that will help you to. I hope this best practices helps you to implement in your real-time scenarios. Thank you. This is an enrollment form for CertTulen training courses. Currently, available courses are in Microsoft Fabric, DP 600, DP 700, and the it's a complete package DP 600, 700, and data sciences. You can choose whatever that is suits for you. The last one is a complete package where you will get the entire knowledge about the Microsoft Fabric as a whole. All the three courses are including the certification training, lots of lab exercises, and real time scenarios implementations together. Upcoming training dates will be provided for you. You can choose date that you need. Fill up the details like your name, phone number, email, country, your role, and the course that you want. You need guidance. If you're not sure, you can contact me through this, and we will give you what kind of courses that you can choose for your career. And we are providing it as a 1 month detailed course, weekend batches for professions who are working, and hourly on request basis as well. But all the courses are online. Recent date events will be provided. You can choose if it suits you, or we will provide according to your need. Most probably group classes. So depends on the team members and how many people have been registered. We will allocate the starting date accordingly. Once you fill up the form, we will get the details and we will connect you back. Thank you so much.